Welcome to the channel, folks. Clunkers and Classics, where we're back on the 67 Camaro. She's ready to put in an engine transmission. Okay, last episode we painted a bunch of these parts here. Fender, wheel wells, header, core support. Still got a bunch more to paint. We'll try, maybe do some of it this episode if we got enough time. Like I said, 3 or 4 days of working, and well, I'm gonna put out a video. So yeah, we need to paint this, need to paint under the hood. Also forgot the hood hinges. I do have them. Don't have the springs, but I can round some of them up. Anyway, a couple of parts over there to paint, but the main objective is to get the engine transmission ready for this. I painted the cross member. Well, 415'd it. It's right here. So that's ready to go in. Last episode I went over all these parts and stuff I bought and what we're going to be doing in the future. So if you missed that episode, you can watch that. So, engine and transmission. If it was back in the 80s, you would go down to the junkyard and say, yeah, give me a good running 350 and a turbo transmission, turbo 350 transmission for a couple of $100. Those days are long gone. You know, some people, they see these YouTubers picking up these drivetrains and they think it's easy. It's not. Very difficult to come across an old school, like carbureted 350. You know, lately I've been, with the 81 Z28, I used an 89 van engine. Well, it doesn't have the, yeah, we converted it to a carburetor, but no spot for a fuel pump. So we had to use electric fuel pump. Just run into problems using late 80s type stuff. Okay, same with the 85 IROC there. That engine, we put a carbureted on it because it was, the engine was originally computerized and computer carburetor and all that on there. We did away with all that and put on a knockoff Holley double pumper 750. So it's difficult to come by. You can't just go down to the junkyard and get one. So I bought the 81 Z28 and this one off a junkyard, local junkyard that's going out of business. Now I was going to restore this one. We put together the 81 Z28 and got that all completely put together, running and driving. Okay, and then the goal was to sell that one to pay for the build for this one. This one came with a drivetrain from the junkyard, and he said it ran a couple of years ago. We got it running, got a couple of videos on this. It was pretty easy getting it running, but there was a lot of stuff rigged up. The exhaust was all, let me get this cup off of here. The distributor cap was backwards, and it has a little groove for it to snap into. It wasn't even snapped in. It was just turned over and it ran, but kind of shitty. And took that off and adjusted all that. Exhaust manifolds were all leaking, or the headers, or whatever the hell was on here. And I got some new headers, put them on there so we could hear if it's knocking or anything else. Then we got it running, but the carburetor was completely screwed. It would idle, but other than that, it wouldn't do nothing. Just bogged down. You hit the gas and it just sounded like it was gonna, you know. So sponsor Friday's Parts, they sent me this carburetor here. Put that on there, runs perfect. So we had the engine running. It runs pretty damn good. Now it's a 80 to 85 350 block is what the numbers came out to. 80 to 85, 350, 5.7. So it is a 350, but low horsepower. This engine, you know, it's supposed to be blue or black or something, but somebody painted it orange, and I was hoping it would be an older 350, a little more horsepower, but it wasn't. So somebody painted it orange. Obviously it's been all apart. Got an Edelbrock. It had a carburetor like on there, Holly, that was junk, or needs rebuilding. So it's been probably rebuilt at some point. We don't know what work they've done to it. We don't know how good the engine, like horsepower wise, is. It sounds good, but no knocking, no smoking, none of that. So it's good. Originally people were saying, oh, it's got a cam in it. Yeah, I don't know, because it sounded like, you know, but it wasn't that. It was just because it was running rough. It sounded like it had a cam. Can't drive it because I got no brakes whatsoever. No brakes. The bleeder screws are busted off, so I can't bleed them and get some brakes. Normally what I would do is I'd be driving around on my property, you know, really romp on it, you know, and I put out some bread for the cats, but Nikki's walking off with it. What you doing, Nikki? She's looking for somewhere to bury it. She came in the other day with a dirt-covered piece of bread. She had buried it, and then she went out later and dug it up and brought it in the house. That's like... So normally I would take it out here and just rip it around, but can't do that with no brakes. So all we can do is have it idling and rev it up, and it sounds great, you know. So horsepower wise, we don't know. It's not my first choice for the 67, but we got to deal with what we got. And this since I'm taking this engine and the transmission works, so taking the engine transmission out of here, and then that's basically going to make this a parts car. It is a real 80 Z28, but they're just not worth a whole lot of money. This one just, you know, went over it on a few videos there. It just needs so much parts that I don't have. They're hard to get, they're expensive, stuff like that. You know, one thing I didn't mention was the floors. You know, it's 500 and something bucks, 500-600 bucks for the floors for the 81. You know, I'd have to spend that on this, and don't have no fenders. Got a hood, got no fenders. Got a regular nose, which I don't think will work. It would just need thousands of dollars to, you know, I built the 81, ended up having, what I have, 3,500. So 2,500 bucks worth of parts. This would easily be over that. This would be probably $3,500 worth of parts I'd have to put into this. And now I paid $2,000 for both of them, and another parts car that ain't worth much. So we're basically saying the value of this money is $1,000 for this one, $1,000 for the 81. So I put $3,500 into this. Yeah, I don't think I included tires and rims. I got a set of rims like that are on the 81, but the tires, you know, another $500. So you're looking at $4 grand, plus I got $1 into it. That's $5 grand, and a whole lot of work, a whole lot of labor. Probably not as much labor as the 81, but a lot more body work. Oh yeah, flares, all them flares, ground effect stuff, and I don't know where I can get all that. It's just be very expensive. So it's going to be a parts car due to conditions, that, you know, tariffs and stuff, buying these parts. You know, I just spent 2,700 bucks on parts for the 67. Well, mostly the 67, and couple of hundred for the 300 and something for the 70 Z28. And since I bought that 70 Z28, then we're going to use a bunch of parts off of this one. So it's going to be a parts car for the 67 and the 70. The 67, the engine transmission. The 70, the windshield, which is good. Hopefully I can take it out without breaking it, because I don't want to spend $200 for a new one. And the tilt steering column. And the subscriber that donated the seats, front seats and the back seat cover, yeah, they're going in the 70 instead of this one. Originally they were going to go in this one. So yeah, we got a bunch of parts for the 70 and some for the 67. The rear end, it looks to be original, whereas the 81, I forgot to check that, see if it was posi or not. The 81 looked like it had been swapped over. Same with the 70. The 70 is supposed to be a 12-bolt posi, and it's not. Somebody swapped it to a 10-bolt, probably a one-wheel peel. This one is probably a posi track. We'll check it out here when we get it jacked up. So the rear end is going to be a donor either for the 70 or the 81 if it's not a posi. So it's a good donor car for for both them cars that are worth a whole lot more money than this would be to fix up, you know. So, or this one after it's fixed up, what it's worth, you know, 12 grand, and you know, this one's, you know, 30, 40, closer to 40, 30, we'll say 35. Everyone on I watch at Maple Motors, every time he's got a first generation Camaro, seems to be 35 grand. And mine's going to be in way better shape than his. His, they look good from a distance. But you get up close when he does them real close up, and he goes over all the nicks and you know, cracks and everything in it. And man, you look at it from here, or look at it on camera, even not very far away, and it looks great. You know, they're red or blue or black, like this, but when he gets up close, you look out, you got rust bubbles, you got Bondo cracks, you got peeling. The thing, even though it looks great to be nice, it would have to be all stripped down. You take that whole car apart and you have to strip down the whole body to metal and redo it. And what's that going to cost you after you already spent 35 grand on it? So you know, the only thing that his cars look good at is the interior. The interiors look pretty good in some of them, but the body wise, you know. So anyway, you know, 40 grand, 30 to 35 for the 70 after they're done, painted and everything. Whereas this one, 12 grand. So we got a simple economics, say, do that car and that car, not this one. So, but me, I'd like to save them, especially a Z28, but I can't. But like I said before, we're not gonna cut off. I'm not gonna sell, like if somebody wants a quarter panel or a roof, I'm not gonna have this hacked up. So one day down the road, if some miracle happens and they're worth 30 to 40,000, then it's still there, still a Z28, we can still fix it. But is that going to happen? No, not a chance. People said that 10 years ago, then they said it 10 years before that, then they said 10 years before that. Oh, just wait, they're going to increase in value, just wait, just wait. No, they never do, they never do. They don't increase in value enough to be worthwhile to restore them, okay? Just like the 73 Le Mans that I'm not going to restore, and a bunch of other them 70, you know, Art's former 77 Malibu, same thing. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30. Oh, just wait, they're going to be worth something. No, they're not. I've had very few calls on that. It's been up for sale for 6 months. Nah, a couple of calls, a couple of trade offers. So, no more, like I mentioned before on another video, no more fixing up them 70s types, Le Mans, Chevelles or these type of Camaros. You know, unless they're in really good shape and they don't need much. But this one needs everything, and it's just not worth it. So, okay. So it should run. I had some gas in the gas tank, and that battery holds a little bit of a charge, but we got to jump it. So we're going to jump this and start it up, and this will be the last time, but we'll hear it run. And I'm going to drive it up here, drive it up in front of the shop. Then to make it easier, this radiator support's screwed. It's all bent over there. We'll probably unbolt this front bumper deal. We'll unbolt that, save that. As far as the radiator support, I guess we'll unbolt it here. I was going to say I just sawzall it off, but I think we can unbolt that. So we're going to get all this out of the way. So it'll be as easy as possible to pull this engine up, over top the motor mounts, and slide it out, engine and transmission. May have to take the headers back off. The headers may hit up here trying to take it off. No big deal. And may take the carburetor off to make sure don't damage that. It doesn't have the brackets on it. I was going to see if I had some laying around. I have a bracket here and over here, and put the chain and lift it up. But okay, so yeah, we'll probably take all that off. Now the wiring's a little rigged on this. These are just little joiners here. This is what is that, going to the starter or the alternator? I guess that's going to the alternator. And there's, anyway, this I rigged up for the choke. So I don't know what exactly they had here. These are starter wires. Anyway, there's, when you turn on the ignition, that comes on, that gets hot. So I was assuming it went straight to the starter, but it looks like it's going to the alternator. Okay, so this wiring system is, this is for the AC stuff. Oh, what did I do here? I forgot I even had that in here. Great. Okay. I don't think the 70 Z28 has a wiring harness on it. I'm going to assume it doesn't. The 67 doesn't. But I bought a whole new painless wiring system for that car. So I haven't even taken it out of the box, and I'm not going to until I'm ready to install it. So where this plugs in right here, there's nothing there. We don't have no harness from the firewall forward in the 67. This one does. We don't know how good it is. We don't know if anything's missing. This, there we go here. These go to the headlights. Of course, the little plastic plugs are busted off and stuff, or melted or disintegrated. Okay, so there's the lights and horn signals. And then this would be, well, that goes to the little brake light there. Not sure what that one went to. And then this would be your engine type harness here. So that comes in, well, it comes in and you do your wiper, and then down to your starter and stuff. So what I think I'm going to do is there's one bolt here. Undo that bolt, pull it, and we're going to just pull this whole harness with the engine. That way we don't have to get under there and disconnect starter wires and all that stuff. We may have to get that I don't know if that starter's going to be in the way. Starter may hit the motor mount. So we'll just put the harness here and pull that with the engine. And then once the engine's out, we're going to clean it all up and go over it. I did buy a bunch of stuff for this, such as this stuff I could see. Where was it? This is a transmission kickdown cable. It's busted right there. That plastic's supposed to be connected there. It's busted. So I got a new one of them. Hopefully it's the right size. And once it's pulled out, then we'll put a new one on there. That's, you know, that's supposed to be over here into the carburetor linkage. Other than that, I'm not sure. Like I said, we'll just take this whole thing off here and pull that with it. See exactly how they had that rigged. Because what I'd like to do is take this whole harness off once it's out of the engine and use it for the 70. Not right now, we're gonna put it on, but we're gonna get it ready. But we'll have to see what's cut and what's missing, stuff like that. I know, like I said, this is the AC stuff here. Well, it might not be the AC for the. That's a blower motor and ground. That's right here. I don't know why they have that all disconnected, but go in there, something like that. There's the ground right there. And like I said, we'll need this to hook up the 70. We need all this stuff. See, when I bought that new wiring harness, painless wiring, do all these plugs come on there? Come on the harness, or do you have to snip them and splice in your old ones? I don't know. That's why I really don't. I like to have a harness where you buy it like that and you plug everything in. Plug and play. Is that how the painless one is? I don't know. Hope it can be, but I'm not counting on it. And those cheap Amazon ones for 100, 200 bucks, no, they're not going to be like that. They're not going to have any of these plugs. And people say, oh yeah, they're all coded to where you put them. Yeah, well, you know, this says, oh, it goes to the blower motor. Well, you know, there's 6 of them going to the blower motor thing. Probably ain't going to have this plug. Then it'll have it all snipped off here. Blower motor. Yeah, well, there's 6 wires. Where do they go? If you don't have one, like 67 doesn't have one. Luckily, I got a 72 Nova with a 68 harness on it from a 68 Nova, so I can go back and forth and look. But if you're only working on one car, you ain't got a parts car to look at or nothing. I think those trying to rewire your whole car with a cheap harness is going to be next to impossible to do, unless you got a parts car to look at, or you're really good at schematics and reading stuff, and then you'd have to buy all them plugs. Anyway, I don't want to get too rambling too far. We got to get rolling on this. We can go over what we all need to disconnect, but let me get a jumper box, possibly a little bit of gas, and we'll start this thing up. Let it warm up a little bit. This radiator, you can see all these spots. We don't know if this radiator's any good, but we got a new one from a sponsor there, so we got to disconnect this. And I think he's got a he's got a transmission cooler on there, so we'll snip that off and just put that over here and pull that with the engine transmission. And we'll just cut these. He does got a heater core hooked up to it. We'll cut off the heater core wires, disconnect the radiator hoses, and so we want to get all this out of the way. Okay, so yeah, this something's misaligned or something on the belt. I think the belt just flipped. Okay, so let me get a booster box. We'll get it running. We'll drive it over there, front of the shop, and then we'll go over what I got to disconnect. We got to jack her all up, and I got to get up underneath there and start disconnecting stuff. The only thing I don't, not the only thing, but one of the things I don't have for the 67 is a drive shaft. Never came with the car. This one's got a drive shaft in it. Is it going to be the same length? Doubtful, but possible. I'd say if I round up a drive shaft if I don't. So the goal is not to get this pulled and get it in there and running and driving. No, we got a lot of work to do before we get it running in there, and there's no rush. Like I said, we don't have the wiring harness on there, drive shaft, all that stuff. The goal is to get it bolted in there where it's supposed to be, and then we can work from there. The goal is not to rush around, rig stuff up just to rip it up and down the road or whatever. We got a lot of little stuff to do. So don't expect that. In fact, this video, we're probably just going to get this engine and transmission pulled, and all this stuff I bought, like see these power steering hoses here. For the 67, the power steering box is up here, and so I bought new hoses, the longer hoses that will go into there. So we'll hook that up. I got the kickdown cable, bunch of other little stuff. I got new heater hoses. I didn't buy new radiator hoses yet, but we're going to go over it, get it up there, clean it, probably paint it. I'm not sure. Probably have to get some really good degreaser, engine cleaner, oven cleaner, something, and clean all this off. And do we want to repaint it? I don't know. Maybe. I'd like to make it look really nice when you open the hood of that 67. It's got to look nice. So, but are we going to tear down the whole engine and put a whole new gasket set on it? No. We're going to get it running and let it run for a while, and then when I pull the engine, I can see if it's leaking anywhere, leaking under the old pan or timing cover, something like that. But if it looks okay, no, I'm not tearing the whole thing apart. Valve covers, we're probably going to get new valve covers, but they are very expensive. They're like 80 to 100 bucks for a pair of aluminum ones, and the chrome ones are 40 to 50 bucks. See, I remember they used to be like 20 bucks, but no, everything's just gone through the roof. So a bunch of trailer load of parts I got off a subscriber that there's a set of aluminum ones on there that need to be stripped down, and I'll show you that here in a little while. Stripped down and painted. So we may go that route. And just like I said, we'll just need to check everything over. And this takes different motor mounts. So I got the motor mounts for the engine for that one. We'll have to put the motor mounts on here. Just tons of little stuff. We'll go over it when we get it over there by the shop. Okay, so let me get a booster box, move some of that stuff out of the way, and we'll start her up and drive her for the last time. The other thing I don't have, I hate this ratchet shifter here. It's probably be all right if you get used to it, but I don't know. I know they're expensive. Now, out of all them Camaro parts cars I got, all the shifters, factory style shifters, they're all missing something. They're missing the buttons and the knobs, and the cables are all broke. You can't even piece them together to make a good one. They're missing and butchered up so much. So yeah, I know, I don't know why, but shifters are very, very expensive. Are we gonna hook that one up? I don't know, I hate to, but we can save that till last. We just need the engine transmission bolted in there, bolted to the cross member, to the transmission, bolted to the transmission cross member, and the engine bolted to the front subframe. And then I'll call it good. Then we can work on the other stuff, the wiring and all that. And then, but during that time, next we want to start bolting the new front end parts that I painted. Not new parts, some new parts, but newly painted parts. Start bolting that on to get that front end looking like a car. So, okay, yeah, let me get a booster box here and we'll start her up and bring her over here. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, here it is. Okay, well, that's the last time it's going to run for a while. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, had to turn off the radio. Okay, so, yeah, we're going to get started pulling this, get her up on 4 jack stands, and start back here. We'll take off the U-joint, pull the drive shaft, and here we got the speedometer linkage to the shifter. Take them off, and then up here got the motor mounts right there. There's a bolt there. Undo the power steering lines. Probably have to take out the headers. I'm pretty sure they're going to hit. It's not going to be easy coming out with them headers on there. Plus we'll have to take the headers off to paint it. And the battery is in the trunk. So this positive here goes all the way back to the trunk. So we have to disconnect that. And other than that, so we'll just disconnect this with these little screws here. Leave that wiring. I already pulled the headlight wiring and stuff right here. So we got that. And just take off that little bolt like I said right there. Pull that. So this whole harness should come with it. Disconnect the wiper motor. And yeah, there's a few wires that are cut and everything, but and I think that should be about it, other than taking this core support and radiator out. Like I said, I'll do that right now. The bumper brackets right there, those 2 bolts, this bolt, and we'll get rid of all that. I got the hoist up here. Oh, and the transmission mount and transmission mount bolt and the cross member bolts. That should be about it. Oh, the fuel line, we'll just cut that. Yeah, at first it wasn't running. It's pouring gas down the vent tube here, and it would run for a minute and die, and finally took off this line here, and then all of a sudden it just started pumping. Just dark yellow brown shit. So it's going to run a lot better with fresh fuel in it. So yeah, disconnect the fuel line, just cut it. Just cut it right here, I guess. And transmission cooler, we'll just set that over here. Pull that with it. I think that's about it. So I'll get started on it, get it jacked up, and keep you informed. And like I said, the hoses. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, I haven't got a lot done, but a little bit. Okay, here's the core support, unbolted the bumper brace reinforcement, radiator full of antifreeze, so it looks like it would leak, but I don't know. It did have some pressure on it from running a little bit, but we don't know. You know, probably get it running for about a half hour, an hour, and then really test it, see if it's squirting out in anywhere. But we're not going to use it anyway, but I'd like to sell it. Started disconnecting stuff here. Everything's misaligned. Alternator bracket, alternator's misaligned. The power steering pump's misaligned, but nothing new. I'm gonna have to straighten all that up. Started taking off some header bolts, but it's got a little pipe and a little muffler under there that I gotta take off first. Right there, just a little muffler and a little pipe. We'll unbolt it from the new header right there. Take them off first and then pull them headers out. Then we can get at the motor mounts a lot easier. I can get at them like that, but I said we'll have to pull them up headers out anyway, because they'll end up hitting something. Okay, got her up on 4 jack stands. Okay, so put it in neutral. So you spin this tire. If I can. I just had it spinning, but I guess I used 2 hands. Anyway, when you spin the tires, both of them spin the same direction. So that's supposed to mean it's a positive, right? And it's got a tag on it, limited slip differential. So we have a posi, and it does work because we drove it around. Does it grind? Does it whine? Does the bearings leak? We don't know, but we got a posi. You see this end here for the sway bar, it's busted off on that end, so this sway bar is no good. These end links and brackets are probably good. A little bit more rust on here than I would like, but it's a North Carolina car, it's not a Texas car. So, and yeah, I knew it needed floors. So, oh, what's with this? Got a little plug in the gas tank. Got air shocks on it. We don't know if they work. So, we don't know if there's a posi on the 81 Gold Z28 or the 70 Z28. Both of them look like they've been swapped, and most likely they're one-wheel peelers. So we'll have to take this out. Do we have to do it right now? No. Can I do it when it's parked in another area? Yeah, instead of doing it here. So if I pull it here, I got no way of rolling it unless I drag it up on a trailer and try to drag it off. I might as well jack it up and take it off when it's parked where it needs to be instead of here. Could I start taking stuff off and make it easier? I probably could, but anyway, it's got a posi. We got to take it off and save it for something. Okay, so basically I'm just going to take off these 4 U-bolts here and And you see the transmission cross member over there. And like I said, the mufflers and the headers, transmission mount. We'll see what's hooked up. Looks like the speedometer. Looks like the speedometer's hooked up there, and then the linkage obviously hooked up. And disconnect them, and that should probably be about it. And then we'll pull it. I'm not going to record all the work I'm doing because it's a real pain in the ass setting this camera up on tripods and getting it underneath the car and filming working, and it makes the job twice as long, and I don't get paid the big YouTube money like the big YouTubers do it for YouTube revenue. I don't count on YouTube revenue to finance all this work. So I can't spend double the time of making fancy videos of all that. So yeah, what else we got? Okay, so the old adage, when one door opens, or I already screwed it up, when one door closes, another one opens. So like I said, we're gonna part this out and not build it. So what do I just get? 5 minutes ago, I get this message. Now, I got that 78 RT pile of crap. You know, I had 2 of them, and I built the black one out of it. Right there at the end. You know, great shape. Everything works, runs and drives. The other one's just a pile of crap. No drivetrain, no nothing. I've had it up for sale for $1,500 or best offer or trade for, oh shit, 3 years now. 3 years. I think the best I got offered was $500 for it, and I said no. So here we go. See if it shows up on camera. A guy says he will trade. Can you see it? 81 Z28. He goes, I got an 81 Z28 that I'm maybe interested in trading. I said, I'm interested, condition and picture. T-tops, got a title, Vortec 350 turbo, needs the carb swapped and HEI distributor. This is when I first got it, subframe and structure solid as can be. Got some floor trunk rust, but really solid otherwise. Interior stripped. I do have the cowl hood. That's when I first got it. I need to take updated pictures. It's got two 15 inch and two 14 inch. I guess he's talking about the rally rims there. Yeah, I'd like to get a set of 4 of those 15 inchers, but all matching. And I said, yes, I'll trade. Bring it on over. So we'll see what happens. It looks like a builder to me, especially if he's got a drivetrain in it and T-tops. So yeah, be a better build than this one. Yeah, probably. Sounds like it. Yeah, people are, you know, just kind of like how I got the Mustang. You know, the Mustang is worth 3 or 4 times what that old van was worth. So you just got to be patient, guys, when you do in this type of business. We'll see if he brings it over. He hasn't replied. If not, shit, he'll have to come over here and check out, make sure he wants to trade, and if he does, shit, I'll bring it over to him and bring that Z28 back. Hell yeah. Okay, so anyway, guys, that's what yeah, what I was thinking. This bumper too, this bumper's in a lot better shape. It needs to be stripped down, primed and painted. Much better shape than the 81 Z28 gold one. Remember, that was all ripped here and here, and really dried up plastic, and I don't see, this one has to be stripped. But anyway, the 81 bumper is way worse than this, so I think we'll take that bumper off as well, if we get around to painting that gold one, because I don't know, I had 2 or 3 people wanting to buy it as is, and I told them $8 grand. They're like, okay, but don't hear back from them. They just ghost you. So we'll see if it sells as is, or like I said, if we paint it, we'll take that off. So I don't know, is that all I need to go over? I think that's about it. If I run into any problems, I'll show you, or anything interesting. But yeah, it looks like she'll be a parts car. I'd like to take this windshield out while it's here, because my deal to take out the windshield is air powered, and I'm not going to reach an air hose way over there to take it out over there. But then again, I don't really feel like pulling it right now. As soon as we get this engine transmission out, I'd like to just stick it back over there. Now we need to column and everything for the 70, but I can take that out while it's over there, and that way we can steer it out of here and over there. So that's no big deal. Rear end's kind of a big deal, but this windshield, I don't know. See, what I would have to do would be drag the car back over here. Anyway, I'm thinking about it. I wouldn't mind doing it, but what the pain in the ass is this area here. To get this looks like a newer windshield. It's obviously going to be urethaned in there. I can cut around here from the inside real easy, but it's going to be just time consuming. Not going to be easy. So we got that dilemma. And yeah, I'll just think of any other stuff that I want to strip from it. But okay, well, I'll be back. Okay, guys, I think I got it ready to pull. Took the headers off. Those were brand new. And then those ones were with the car. I had to cut the one to make it. I don't think we'll use them, but the cross member, took it out, undone this where the transmission mounts to, and then the two bolts on each side, bolts to the subframe. I don't know if the 70 Z28 has one, but I think I read that the newer ones are different due to the floor, curvature of the floor or something. So I don't know if I could use that or not. But anyway, everything came out good. Motor mount bolts just slid right out of there. Nothing was bound up. I got the wire disconnected. I had one of these pull things from a junk motor, and then the back, we're just going to use a chain right here in the back of the head and pull it that way. Undone that big old positive wire here, goes all the way to the trunk. I should save that because they're expensive. I don't know how good it is though, but yeah, that they'd been out before because that bolt came out that way from the factory. They go in that way and you'd have to take the fuel pump off. Yeah, it's pretty much the shifter. It's a big long cable. I just disconnected it from the shifter. Way too long, but anyway, that's coming out with it. Shifter and this that's broke, that I got a new one that hopefully it fits. Disconnected the power steering at the power steering pump itself because we got two new lines, so just leave these ones with this. Yeah, I think that's about it. I got the transmission jacked up there. And jack up the transmission all the way to the hump to slide that out. The cross member mount. Got the drive shaft out over here. Eventually we'll see if that's the same once the transmission's mounted in the 67. We'll see if it's the same, but I'm not going to count on it. Okay, I got the little leveler thing there. I'll put that on here, slide it underneath there, and in a few minutes she should be out of there. oh, I had to disconnect the, had an aftermarket oil gauge plug right there. It's right where the tape is. No cheap plastic thing that they'll eventually break at the worst time. So I don't really like them ones. And you get the steel ones or the copper ones, whatever it is. But yeah, I'd like to put another one in. I'm not gonna pull the distributor or nothing to pull the carburetor, but I think that's about all to go over. I said we'll pull this harness is gonna go with it, and we'll take that all off. There isn't really much attaching the wire, just the alternator and the starter. But I said we got to take it off anyway for the 70 and figure out what this is, why this is rigged up like that. I think I know why, but I think a factory's supposed to have a little terminal in here somewhere that the power attaches to and connects like this over to the blower motor and everything. So okay, well, I'll be back in a few and I'll show you me pulling it out. Oh, I heard from the guy that wanted to trade that 81 Z28 for the 78 Aspen RT. He lives in Arkansas somewhere. I didn't look up the city. I don't know exactly how far it is, but it's pretty far from here. Yeah, it could be 3 hours, could be 5 hours, I don't know. So I originally messaged him and says, if you don't have a way to get it here, I could possibly bring it to you. And then I read his, he had a bunch of reviews as a buyer. He's selling a lot of car parts and old cars and stuff. He's a kid, young kid. And shit, his last 5 reviews are just, the guy's a real flake. Says, oh, I drove 3 hours with a car and get there and he doesn't have the money. Said he had to sell his other car to get the money to pay for this. I wasted 3 hours there and 3 hours back and $200 worth of gas. Another guy said he went there and the guy flaked out. He didn't answer no messages. He wasn't around and all this stuff. Anyway, there's 5 messages like that. And I thought, yeah, this guy's a real flake. I'm not going to be loading up that car and driving it 3 to 5 hours away, spending hundreds in gas, and him not trading. So I said, nah, I said, I'm not going to bring it to you. I said, you'll have to find a way to bring it to me if you want to trade. And then before that, he was asking for all kinds of pictures of the interior, and I said, listen, the ad says it's rough, needs complete restoration. Oh, can you take more pictures of the interior, more pictures of this? And I said, no, I said, it's rough. I said, it needs complete restoration. Oh, I just want to make a beater out of it anyway. I love Mopars, and I got a 360 Magnum and all this, and you know. So anyway, I guess he wants to leave it looking like a beater. But anyway, haven't heard back from him. We'll see. He'll have to rent a U-Haul and bring it up here if he wants to trade that bad. I'm not gonna be wasting my time and gas going to friggin' Arkansas to maybe trade. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, guys, she's just about cleared. Lots of dirt daubers. Been sitting at the junkyard. Yeah, making a real mess here. Yeah, and that transmission had water in it. He didn't know how. Figured the only way was through that radiator. That's why they bypassed it and put on this cooler. It probably started leaking inside there. Yeah, that thing I'm just going to throw in the shit pile. So So what we're going to do is jack this up and then roll the car out from underneath of it. Oh, I guess I don't even have to jack it up that high. I got to take it off the jack stands. Oh, shit. Oh. Might be a pain in the ass because I got to, the bottom A-frames are going to hit the bottom of the top of the hoist. But anyway, that was the plan. Rolling this out. I'd like to take off a lot of stuff, like I said, but I think we'll just have to wait on it. We'll just get this thing off there and check it out real good. Transmission's got a lot of oily stuff on it, but I drained some of that milky fluid out of there and then filled it up, I think, and it shifted fine and everything. And then it was sitting over there for months, so I don't think anything leaked out. It didn't take any more fluid. But anyway, I'll drain out the best I can. Again, probably to take a lot of cycles there to get all that shit out of there. But if it works, it works. Okay, we figure out how to get this out from underneath of it, because either my concrete is real shitty here. Me and my brother did it after I had the shop built, and we just used bags, but we used a lot of gravel and sand and stuff in there, so it's not very it flakes apart. So just trying to cheap out. So anyway, the hoist does not roll very good, but we'll see. We'll see if I can roll it back here. See, it's going to hit on the bumps and everything, but I'll see if I can get it out. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I pulled it back there with my Jeep. I didn't want to sprain in a muscle or something. Trying to push it, trying to get it over the hump is kind of hard. Okay, yeah, I can see all the dirt daubers crap. Lots of grease built up. Yeah, so I cleaned off these numbers. One 14010207. I can check it again, but I think it said 80 to 85. But I don't see no remnants of blue or black other than the old pan is black. But you would think this block, unless they stripped her right down with some acid or something and took all the old paint off, but and painted it orange. So I don't know. The engine's really not that bad. See, it's not leaking up front. I think I changed the oil in it there when I got it. Change the oil, and what did we do? Put on the headers, put on the carburetor. But yeah, this see this big long old cable here. I think that probably came with a shifter, or it's an aftermarket deal. Oh, the other thing that I noticed, but I didn't remember it. These transmission lines have been they got rubber in between here. That's not going to be acceptable. I don't want no leaks in here or blowing out in there. Headers are right here. This line blows, catches on fire. The whole car is gone. Happened to a friend of mine. Right after I painted his El Camino. He had an El Camino like my black one there. Painted it up black and silver. He had open headers. Open headers, no pipes or nothing here. And he said it was transmission fluid was leaking or something. All the tunnel was all greasy and everything. Well, he trailered it home. He got it home and he decided to take it for a rip down the country road. And yeah, he ripped down there about a mile and boom, caught on fire from the open headers. And he's way out in the country, and he called the fire department, but by the time they got there, it was just Just everything was gone. The whole car was just ruined. So yeah, we don't want nothing like that. So I don't mind up here where they got it placed into a transmission cooler, but not back here. So did I round some up? I got some old crap right there, but it's going to be better than what's on it. But can you buy that stuff new? For one thing, I think it would be oversized. It'd be too long. So I don't know how they sell them, unless get it from O'Reilly's or Napa or AutoZone or something. But as far as shipping something that long, I'm not sure how they would do it, whether they'd have it kind of rolled up and you'd have to straighten it out. But anyway, before we do anything, we need to put 2 new transmission lines on there. This starter is not aligned the best. You can see they got something rigged there. He did have all the wires wrapped up for headers though. Anyway, might do something with that. No dust cover, dust shield on it. Yeah, I don't know what they did with this engine. I don't know if it's rebuilt or what. It may be a rusty chrome timing cover. It's been all apart. Black water pump. But anyway, I'm going to use a scraper. I'm going to scrape as much of this crap off as I can. And I bought some oven cleaner. I just went to Walmart this morning. And we'll try this instead of engine degreaser. Heavy duty oven cleaner. So we'll, in case the camera didn't get it, we'll see. And I guess I'll paint it orange. Why paint it blue or black? Somebody already painted it orange. We'll have to clean up that old pan, paint it as well to match. Transmission, I'm not going to paint it, but I want all that crap out there so I can. We don't know. We don't know if it's leaking or where. It's just probably just normal wear. I don't know. Kind of weird that they would clean up the motor and paint it and put it on a crappy looking transmission. I know it wasn't recent or anything, but you would think they would at least power wash this. You know, I have to bring my power washer over and we'll power wash it and then we'll scrape it, power wash it, and then I'm going to block off all these so I don't get water in them. And then degrease it, let that sit for a while, and then clean it again and paint it up. I have to get some black paint for the pulleys and stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to tear the whole thing apart and re-gasket it and all that stuff. Not really necessary. Okay, well that's what we got to work with. Oh, I've seen, show you this is the transmission kick down right here. Take that bolt off and there's a little hook. Like I said, I got a new one. We'll see if it's the same. I'll come back and tell you. This is not, this should have a little clip here and bolt in somewhere, but that's not. It's probably where it was leaking from. See if I got another one of these with the, or weld on a clamp. I probably got some, an old transmission there. I don't know if I got one or not. But yeah, we don't want this flopping around. We want that bolted in, everything bolted in there good. Yeah, that's about all to go over. I think when I had this cap off, they had it on, it was all clean inside there because I was going to buy another cap. So I think the cap, the wires are these thick MSD ones. I think we'll leave them. The spark plugs, I may have put new spark plugs in it. They look brand new. I probably did. Oh yeah, there's them Bosch. That's what they are. Bosch R6. Yeah, the short ones are headers. So yeah, I'll have to relook at the video. The video would be under the 80, or I may have put it under the 81 Z28, but whenever we did all that stuff there, might have been 2 videos I did it, but like I said, change the oil, plugs, carburetor, headers, stuff like that, and just to check it out after I first bought it, see if it did run and everything. So yeah, I'll just make a list. Like I said, I got a lot of stuff, but we'll have to definitely get those transmission lines and put them in before we mount it, because they're just a pain in the ass trying to get in there when it's underneath the car. And like I said, we're in no rush. Oh, I wanted to show you the valve covers. See, these are all rusty and everything. And in that trailer load of parts I got from a subscriber, these were in it. I don't have the rubbers or the cap, but I need a sandblaster or something. See all the paint, it's all peeling. It looks like it was orange, then black. They were stuck together. They were stuck on top of each other like this. Like that, jammed in there for probably 20 years. And I had to beat the hell out of them to get them to pop loose. I didn't think they would. And I looked at them and they look okay. I don't think they're, I guess, aluminum or alloy. So I'm hoping they're not bent. And I'm thinking of sanding stripping these down and I guess paint it black. So I don't know. Then I'd have to buy the rubber stuff, grommets. So anyway, that's one option for the valve covers. The other, I got some old chrome ones here, but I think they're rusty. But they could clean up with steel wool a little bit. I got a couple little rubber things on there. They're not as bad, but I said they're so expensive nowadays. What else? We don't need to put them valve covers on before we put the engine in. But we do need to paint it. We need to clean the transmission. We need to put the transmission lines, the kick down cable. We need to do all that stuff before we put it in. We got to make it look nice. I don't know how good we can get this intake. It is an Edelbrock Performer. Nice intake, except I don't like those little bolts there. They're 3/8, whatever, 12 point or something. First I thought it was a 10 and they almost stripped. Anyway, there's where we're at. So it had 60% chance of rain today, and it hadn't rained, but it could at any moment. So tomorrow I'm going to be cleaning it up and all that, as long as it don't start raining. So I'll be back tomorrow and we'll try to clean this up and get her all ready, other than the parts, to go into its new home right here. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Okay guys, it's the next day. I've just been spent about an hour scraping this transmission off. You can see all the crap there. Just been using this. What I do have, most of this is all loose, but is some old gasoline right here. I forget what car I pumped it out of. Oh, the IROC Z, you know, old yellow gas. But I got a little wire brush, toothbrush looking thing, and use that old gas on here and scrub it down real good, because I don't think that oven cleaner is going to get everything off. I'd never, well, I don't know, it's been so long since I tried oven cleaner. But anyway, I took the wiring harness off, just unclipped it and marked everything right here. Just For the starter wires, he had two distributor. I marked it, distributor alternator right here. Should only be one of these going on, but he had them on both little ones. Used the one resistor one for points, and this obviously wasn't points, but anyway, I don't know why. I'll have to unravel it and see what he done to it. But anyway, I marked everything. He didn't have a unless it was in this one, a temperature control wire. Temperature control sensor should have been right here. I don't know if there's one on the other side or not. No, there isn't one on there. Yeah, we'll just hook up an aftermarket one anyway. That one would just be for the idiot light. Well, I don't know if I think I ran out of them thermostats with the deals on it where I can stick a deal in there, but we may see if we can take one of these off. Same with for the old gauge. The gauge sets that I bought, oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them at a time. I got three packs there, and I'm pretty sure they come with the copper line for the oil. So we're gonna hook up all the gauges to it. Show you the stuff that I bought earlier. Of course, we got the cross member painted pole 15. Okay, this is called an adjustable detent cable. Bought it off of eBay, and it fits, you know, 69 to 87. So this pulls out here to adjust it, make it longer, and then that's adjustable as well. That goes on the carburetor. So that's this cable here. So I'll put that on later after it's all cleaned up and everything. Bought a new transmission mount. Hopefully it should mount up the same way. We'll see. See, we need the one with the 2 of them on there. You can either get ones with, some come with 2 bolts and some come with 1 bolt in the middle, and we need the 2 right here. See, and I bought a new one anyway off AutoZone. And see, that one's the 1. So that should bolt up to that bolt and the other side, and we'll swap that over after it's cleaned up. I looked on eBay for transmission lines. I didn't see any. I need to check. I don't think I got any orange engine paint. If I do, it's just not going to be enough. Here's some here. Yeah, it's just a little dribble left. Yeah, I'll have to run down to AutoZone, get some orange engine paint, some maybe some black engine paint. I just got some of this. Well, I think that was the paint. Anyway, I'll get a can of black for the accessories and 2 cans of orange. Probably only take 1 can, and see if they got transmission lines. If not, I'll have to clean up some of these old ones here, blow them out, make sure they're not clogged up. I'm gonna pull that starter, be easier to paint, plus it works, but I got that brand new one right here that I bought for the 81 that I never used. Possibly put that on there, but it's close to the header. I don't know, I just bought 2 lately, bought 2 mini starters, and they work good. So I don't know if I should buy a mini starter to put on there or not. Okay, these are the old style motor mounts. These are for the clamshell, called. See, and these are old style here. I don't know if they line up the same or not. No, I don't think so. But yeah, they go on these here. the newer ones, whereas the 67 has these mounts, and yeah, they're up higher. So these go on the engine. These were in a box of stuff that came with the car. And they seem to be newish at one point. They're pretty cheap to buy new, and I thought, well, this is a good brand. It might be better to use this instead of cheap Chinese stuff. But anyway, that goes over like that. Bolt goes through. So we'll swap these out. Maybe paint them black. Swap them out after it's painted and everything. I think that's all I got for now. And I'm going to take off the alternator bracket. Everything's misaligned, so I don't know if I'll take out the power steering pump. Probably should. Take out the alternator, this bracket, this fan here. I don't know if we'll use that or not. A lot of people don't like these. Oh, they'll fall apart. Nah, I'd prefer a fan like this rather than an electric fan or something. Yeah, I started scraping some of the orange. Where did it come off? Right in here. Yeah, they stripped it right down to the metal and painted it orange, so there's no remnants of any other color under there. But yeah, I just wanted to show you those motor mounts. I'm fixing to take the motor mounts off the alternator fan, alternator bracket, starter, this motor mount, and start. The engine's, you know, pretty clean. I wish I knew when it was rebuilt. It probably don't have too many miles on it. If they rebuilt it for this car, obviously this car wasn't even drivable. Well, it was kind of, but it wasn't on the road or nothing. It wasn't tagged. They might have rebuilt it and stuck it in that car 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and hasn't even really been on the road. We don't know. Yeah, the block's gonna be good. Like I said, it was full of antifreeze. So yeah, let me take off them parts and clean up this transmission a little bit better. Then I put some duct tape around here. We'll cut around the edges here with a razor blade, and I just hope this intake will clean up pretty good. Okay, let me do all that and I'll be back. Okay guys, I got my little cheap power washer there out. No. May have to take some sandpaper to that oil pan, get all that paint off there. I'm thinking a lot of this orange paint will come off too. Anyway, let me hose it up real good, and then we'll put some of this oven cleaner on there and let it sit for however long they say it takes. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, it says to I don't know what 3-minute deep clean means, but it says to put it on there, and then in 20 minutes wipe clean with wet cloth or sponge, rinsing frequently, or for heavier stuff, let stand overnight for 8 hours or longer. Well, what we're gonna do, let me unplug this. Okay, We'll spray it on there, let it sit for, I don't know. We got some other stuff to do, maybe 20, 30 minutes, an hour. Then we'll hose it off. And then that's about all I can do to it till I go get some paint. Need some paint, see if I can get some transmission lines. So hell, it may be in the morning before I go and do that. So yeah, maybe we can put on another coat after the first coat. I don't know if this is foamy or not. Might not be. And then rinse her off in the morning. And then if that don't get it, then we'll use all my old gas and a scrub brush, or you know, like a toothbrush type thing, and see if we can get I'm mainly worried about this intake. I don't know if any of this stuff comes off on an intake. Not worried about the valve covers. Like I said, we're gonna either get new ones or something, and I'll just paint over. I'll be painting all this, but I'd rather not paint the intake, but we may have to. Yeah, a lot of this paint came off. A lot of it was kind of old and flaking off anyway. And I said the pulley, harmonic balancer, water pump's all black, oil pump's black, and then the anyway, let me spray all this stuff on, and then I'll be back in 30 minutes to an hour, and we'll power wash it off and see how much it took off. Then we'll spray it again, let it sit overnight. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, it's been sitting on there for about an hour. There must be something in there that works, because it's all, oh shit, look at the intake. Maybe it's phosphoric acid or something. Anyway, let's rinse it off and see what happens. Hopefully it didn't do no damage. Oh yeah, I can see some stuff coming off. I don't want to get no water on the camera, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let me rinse it off, and we'll see. I'll probably get some silver paint and paint that intake. I don't think it's going to come clean. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, I was taking the paint right off that old pan. The old pan's chrome. A little bit of, I don't know if that's rust or glue or something. Overspray. I'm gonna take some steel wool to it. But yeah, it took most of the paint off. Yeah, I think it works better than engine degreaser. It's definitely cleaning it up pretty good. I used about 3/4 of that can. I'm gonna use the rest of the quarter underneath here. Get up under here a little bit better. But other than that, it got out 90% of it. And yeah, that intake's gonna have to be painted. That's okay, we come this far, I might as well mask it off and paint it silver. But yeah, it's pretty clean. Okay, well, this video is pretty long, and I gotta get engine paint and transmission lines and whatever else I can think of tomorrow morning, and then we'll start a new video. I already went over what we're going to replace. You know, this deal here, we got to put a bracket on that or get another one. stuff like that. Oh, I got to clean up. I got to clean up the power steering pump, and I think just probably sand those motor mounts and the alternator bracket, paint them black. And we don't have to put them on, the alternator and power steering pump right now. Motor mounts we do. So that's what I got left to do before we put it in here. But I was just thinking, I got this I got these two holes here. It used to be a standard, some type of factory standard there, and then somebody put a different shifter on it. So I'm gonna have to cut out, that's not the same tunnel as the other Camaros. Anyway, I'm gonna have to patch that and clean it up on the inside and at least undercoat the inside before I put the engine transmission in. There's no way you can make it look nice with the transmission in there. So next video we'll do that. It's just gonna have one hole in it for that cable. You know, like this right here. Just got a hole right there and a little bracket for the cable. So that's all we need in there. I'll probably take that one off for another one, put it on there for a guide. And then we can put in the motor transmission, cross member, all that stuff, and it'll be in there. And then we can worry about putting on the power steering lines and the alternator, power steering pump, all that stuff. We'll do that, and then we'll be ready for the front end. I wanted to get some more front end pieces painted. I forgot to paint these little deals here, fender extensions. Although they look painted, they may be. That's just so weird. That's looks like paint instead of that E-coat stuff. Anyway, I'll probably scuff them and paint them anyway. So yeah, we got to paint them, and like I mentioned, under the hood, the other fender. So when we get that done, the engine done, we can get these get all these parts. We got the core support and this fender. We just got to do a little bit more extra work to this, extra sanding, rust treatment, some primer, and get all the inside of that painted like this. And then be ready to bolt that front end together here in the next couple of videos, make it look like a car. And then we can worry about the probably the wiring harness and a bunch of other little stuff. But anyway, yeah, that's the engine there. So I'll do some more cleaning up and putting that other stuff on behind the scenes, and when we come back, I'm working on I'm working on the tiny house there, getting the roof ceiling of the laundry and bathroom done, plywood painted, all that stuff going. That's what I was doing while I was waiting for this oven cleaner to do its stuff. So anyway, that'll be the next video, tiny house, and then we'll come back to this, and we'll probably just alternate in between. So I've mostly been working on the tiny house at night if I got time. So you got to take advantage of the good weather here. Okay, so subscribe if you haven't, like, comment, share, all that stuff, and we'll see y'all next video. Thanks everybody for watching.